Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, a channel about making computer role-playing games using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. In this video, I would like to continue talking about my current project of trying to code a dungeon crawl in 25 days. This is day 9 of the 25-day challenge. First of all, I would like to announce that I've done a little bit of extra coding. You can now have a look at the area of the dungeon that you're in, and you can move around the dungeon. And the movement is consistent. What I mean by consistent is if you go back to a place you've already been, it will be the same as it was before, and the connections will make sense. For example, if I found my way to the area directly south of this, it definitely wouldn't have a tunnel going north, because we can see from this wall that there's no connection. Similarly, if I went to the area immediately to the east of this area, it wouldn't have a tunnel going west. And if I go back to anywhere that I've been, it'll look exactly the same as it did when I first got there. So it's not very interesting because there's no monsters there yet, or treasure or anything else, but it is definitely a start. We are on our way to making a dungeon. Anyway, I would like to continue talking about the code. We were up to the recruit party screen. I foresee a possible problem with these videos, and that is that I'm creating code more quickly than I can explain the code line by line. And so I might sort of start falling behind. You can see there's quite a few new bits that I haven't talked about yet. And if we get too far behind, I'll have to stop explaining everything line by line and sort of skip things and summarize things, unfortunately. But for now, I will keep doing it. So what we were looking at was this initial screen here where you create your party. We talked about these small buttons, and now let's talk about that button that changes the gender of the small figures. So it just does that. And that, sorry, I'm in the wrong screen. Here we go. Is pretty simple. It is a link which doesn't go anywhere. It just executes the code that's in between the statement of the link and the slash link. Once again, we're using that replace trick so we can reload the page without getting the fade out, fade in effect that happens by default. And all that this button does is we have a variable display underscore gender, which governs which set of figures is displayed up here. And that has a value equal to the character lowercase m or the character lowercase f. And it simply says if display underscore gender is equal to m, turn it to f. And if not, and the only other option is that it's equal to f, set it to m. So just set it to the other of the two values that it can be, and then replace the whole page. The next thing we have is this set of pictures here, which is the party that you've actually recruited. So here's how that works. We have a for loop that goes from 1 to max underscore party, and we ask, is there someone in this particular slot? And we look in the class array. And if that slot is either not defined, which is what ndef means, or it's equal to 0, well then there's no one in there, so we print the image frame 160, which is just that purple square. Otherwise, we have to do something a bit more complicated, which is we print a picture, and we're using that technique that we saw in the last video where we're writing all this stuff into a temporary variable and then printing the temporary variable all at once, because printing the code as we go seems to create problems for the program. So first of all, we say this is a link, and the link is an image, and the image is in the art folder, and it's the relevant class name and the relevant gender, and then 160. So it's something like warrior f160.png. 160 in this and the frame picture just means it's 160 pixels by 160 pixels. And what happens when you click the link? Well, clicking the link is getting rid of that particular member. So we set that slot of the class array to 0. We reduce next underscore slot if that creates a new lowest slot, and then we do the very same replace trick. That's just closing off the link and then printing it. And that is that bit there. So all we have to talk about is the continue button, but unfortunately we are out of time once more, so I will leave it there for now. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.